Hey everyone, welcome back to the deep dive. It seems like every day there's another headline about artificial intelligence, about how it's changing the world. And we thought, well, let's actually take a deep dive into this, cut through the hype, really understand what's happening, where AI is going, and most importantly, what it means for you.
Absolutely. And we've got a ton of really interesting stuff to unpack today. We've got research reports, expert opinions, and some pretty thought provoking articles that are going to take us from where AI is right now to the mind blowing possibilities that might be just around the corner. And of course, the big ethical and societal questions that we really need to be grappling with.
Right, so let's start with the present. AI has kind of become this invisible force in our lives.
Yeah.
But it's everywhere, isn't it? I mean, think about it. When Netflix recommends a show you might like,
Yeah.
or when you ask Siri or Alexa to set a timer, that's AI.
Yeah, it's kind of snuck up on us, hasn't it? And a lot of the AI we interact with daily is powered by what's called machine learning and specifically deep learning. And, without getting too technical, it's basically a system that learns from massive amounts of data. So instead of being programmed for every single task, it can actually identify patterns, make predictions, and kind of mimic in a very simplified way how our brains work with these interconnected layers of artificial neurons.
And we're seeing some pretty impressive results from this already. I mean, tools like GPT-4 from OpenAI, it can generate text that's almost indistinguishable from human writing. It can write code, compose music. It's kind of mind-boggling. And then there's AlphaFold from Google DeepMind, which has cracked this incredibly complex problem of predicting how proteins fold. And that's huge because it could revolutionize drug discovery and our understanding of disease.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, AlphaFold, it's a game changer. Predicting protein structures, it used to be this incredibly time-consuming and expensive process. Now with AI, we can do it much faster, more accurately. It has the potential to accelerate medical research in a way we've never seen before.
And it's not just the scientific breakthroughs. I mean, the financial side of this is staggering. In 2023, the global AI market was valued at over $200 billion. And by 2030, it's projected to hit, wait for it, $1.8 trillion. That's a trillion with a T. So this is not a small thing. AI is clearly a major force shaping the global economy.
It really is. And those numbers, they're not just about fancy gadgets or cool new apps. It's about how AI is going to transform industries, from healthcare and finance to transportation and manufacturing. We're talking about fundamental shifts in how we work, how we live, even how we think about ourselves as humans.
So AI is already pretty powerful. But what about the future? Where are we headed in the next 10 years? What are the big trends that you think are going to have the most impact?
Well, one of the most fascinating and maybe even a little bit scary areas of AI research is something called artificial general intelligence, or AGI. And AGI, it's different from the AI we have now. The AI we have now, it's really good at specific tasks like playing chess or recommending products. But AGI, it would be AI with human level intelligence, capable of learning and solving problems across a wide range of domains, not just one specific area.
So it's like right now we have these specialized AI systems that are kind of like, super calculators. But AGI, it would be more like an artificial mind, right?
Exactly. And some of the biggest names in AI, companies like OpenAI, Anthropic, Google DeepMind, they're all racing to develop AGI. And some experts believe we might see significant progress towards AGI within the next decade or so.
Wow. That feels really soon. But it also raises a lot of questions, right? Like what happens when we have machines that are as intelligent as us, or maybe even more intelligent?
It does. And those are questions we definitely need to be thinking about now. But before we jump too far ahead, there are other areas where AI is going to have a huge impact in the near future. Take healthcare, for example. I mean, imagine a world where AI can analyze medical images to detect diseases at their earliest stages, or sift through mountains of research data to develop new treatments, or even create personalized health plans based on your unique genetic makeup.
I mean, we're already seeing glimpses of that, right?
Yeah.
With tools like IBM Watson, which is being used to help doctors diagnose diseases, or Google's MedPal-M, which can answer complex medical questions with surprising accuracy.
Right. And as these tools get more sophisticated, they have the potential to completely revolutionize healthcare, from diagnosis and treatment to prevention and long-term care.
And it's not just healthcare. AI is also changing how we work, how we create. I mean, think about the tools you probably already use, like Grammarly or Copilot, that help you write more effectively or code faster. That's AI working in partnership with humans.
Yeah, and this idea of human AI collaboration, it's only going to become more prevalent. I mean, imagine a future where AI handles all the routine tasks, analyzes data, generates reports, while humans focus on the more creative, strategic, and complex aspects of their work. It's like having a superpowered assistant by your side.
I like the sound of that. Now, one area that's really fascinating to me is neuromorphic computing. Sounds like something straight out of Star Trek, but it's actually a real thing.
It is, and it's based on this idea of building computers that work more like the human brain. So instead of processing information in a linear way like traditional computers do, neuromorphic computers use these interconnected networks of artificial neurons, kind of like our brains do, and this allows them to process information in a much more parallel and energy efficient way.
So it's like building a computer that thinks more like we do, right?
Exactly. And companies like Intel and IBM, they're already developing these neuromorphic chips, which could be a game changer for AI, especially for tasks that require a lot of processing power, like image recognition or natural language processing.
Okay, so we've talked about some pretty amazing possibilities. But with all this talk about AI's potential, we also have to consider the potential downsides, right? I mean, the impact on jobs, the potential for bias, the question of control. These are all real concerns.
Oh, absolutely. And those are things we can't ignore. Let's take the jobs issue. There's a lot of fear that AI is going to lead to mass unemployment. And, the World Economic Forum, they predict that by 2025, AI could displace 85 million jobs globally.
Yeah, I remember reading that. And that's a scary number.
It is. But it's important to note that the World Economic Forum also predicts that AI will create 97 million new jobs in the same time frame. So it's not a simple equation of AI equals job losses. It's more about a shift in the types of jobs that are in demand. We'll likely see growth in fields like data science, AI development, AI ethics, and even things like prompt engineering, which is basically the art of giving AI systems the right instructions to get the results you want.
So it's less about jobs disappearing and more about jobs changing, right?
Right. And that means we need to be prepared for a future where lifelong learning, adaptability, and reskilling are essential. And we need to make sure that our education systems and our social safety nets are designed to support people through these transitions.
Now, another big concern is bias. I mean, we've already seen examples of AI systems exhibiting bias, like facial recognition systems that are less accurate for people of color.
And that's a critical issue. AI systems, they learn from the data they're trained on. And if that data reflects existing biases in society, then the AI system is going to perpetuate those biases, sometimes even amplify them. So we need to be very careful about how we train AI systems, how we ensure fairness and accountability.
Right, and it's not just bias. There's also the question of control. I mean, as AI systems become more powerful, more autonomous, how do we make sure they remain aligned with human values? How do we prevent unintended consequences?
Yeah, that's the big question. And it's something that thinkers like Nick Bostrom, Eliezer Yudkowsky, and Stuart Russell have been warning us about for years. They talk about this idea of alignment problems, where AI systems might pursue goals that are not actually beneficial to humans, even if those goals were never explicitly programmed into them.
So it's like the AI might have a goal, but that goal might not be what we actually want, right?
Right. And the more powerful the AI system, the more crucial it becomes to ensure that its goals are aligned with ours. And that's not just a technical challenge, it's a philosophical one, an ethical one. It requires us to think deeply about what it means to be human, what values we want to preserve, and how to build those values into the very fabric of AI systems.
Now, shifting gears a little bit, one area where AI is making really interesting inroads is creativity. I mean,
Right.
we used to think that creativity was uniquely human. But AI is now composing music, generating art, even writing poetry and screenplays.
It's amazing, isn't it? And tools like OpenAI, Sora, and Runway ML, they're blurring the lines between human creativity and machine creativity.
Yeah.
I mean, these tools can generate realistic video from text descriptions. It's like magic.
It really is. But it also raises some questions, right? Like, what does it mean for artists, for musicians, for writers, when AI can create works that are just as good, or maybe even better, than what humans can create?
Yeah, it challenges our notions of what it means to be creative, what constitutes art. And it also raises concerns about, copyright, intellectual property, and the livelihoods of creative professionals. We need to have a serious conversation about how to integrate these powerful AI tools into the creative landscape in a way that is ethical, sustainable, and beneficial to everyone.
Now, let's zoom out to the global stage. AI is clearly becoming a major factor in international relations and economic competition. I mean, there's this whole AI arms race happening between the US, China, and the EU.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just about bragging rights. I mean, countries are realizing that leadership in AI could translate to significant economic and military advantages. And so we're seeing massive investments in AI research, development, and even things like AI-powered weapons systems.
Yeah, and we've also seen countries taking steps to restrict the flow of AI technology. The U.S., for example, has placed limits on exporting certain types of AI chips to China.
Right. And on the regulatory side, the EU is leading the way with its AI Act, which aims to classify AI systems based on their risk level and impose different requirements depending on that risk. It's the first major attempt to create a comprehensive legal framework for governing AI.
So it's like everyone's trying to figure out how to manage this incredibly powerful technology on a global scale, right?
It is. And the question is, can we establish international norms and agreements that ensure AI is developed and used responsibly, that it benefits all of humanity, not just a select few? That's the challenge, and it's one we need to address urgently.
So we've talked about a lot, from the amazing possibilities of AI to the potential risks and challenges. But ultimately, this all comes back to us, right? It's about what kind of future we want to create with this technology.
Exactly. AI, it's a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It reflects our values, our choices. And so we need to be very deliberate about how we develop and deploy AI. We need to ask ourselves, what kind of world do we want to live in? What role do we want AI to play in that world?
Right, because we have a choice. We can let AI shape us, or we can shape AI.
We can choose to use AI to automate away jobs, or we can use it to create new opportunities, to free up human potential. We can choose to let AI exacerbate existing inequalities, or we can use it to promote fairness and justice.
And those choices, they're not just for governments or corporations to make. They're for all of us.
Mm.
We need to be informed. We need to ask critical questions. We need to demand accountability. And we need to be actively involved in shaping the future of AI.
Absolutely, and it starts with education. We need to understand how AI works, what its capabilities are, what its limitations are. We need to be aware of the potential risks and benefits so we can make informed decisions.
And we need to be vocal. We need to push for transparency, for ethical guidelines, for regulations that ensure AI is developed and used responsibly.
Right. And we need to be creative. We need to imagine new possibilities, new ways of using AI to solve problems, to improve lives, to make the world a better place.
You know, it reminds me of that quote by Alan Kay, the best way to predict the future is to invent it. And that's what we're doing here, right? We're having this conversation, we're exploring these ideas because we want to be active participants in shaping the future of AI.
We do. And the choices we make today, the actions we take today, will have a ripple effect for generations to come. So let's make sure those ripples are positive ones.
Well said. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the future of AI. We've covered a lot of ground today, but this is really just the beginning of the conversation.
It is. And we encourage you to keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep challenging assumptions. The future of AI is not predetermined. It's up to us to decide what it looks like.
And as AI continues to evolve, so too will our understanding of what it means to be human in an increasingly intelligent world.
And that's a journey we're all on together.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time.